All right, welcome everyone. Today we're going to dive into the history of a land that is so much more than just a place on a map. You could say it's the very soul of a nation. Let's explore the ancient and absolutely sacred story of Uttar Pradesh.
You know, this land, nestled between the mighty Ganga and Yamuna rivers, is one of the world's ancient cradles of civilization. It's a place so fertile, so alive, that you could almost say history itself chose to wake up here. And our story? Well, it begins right at that dawn.
So, our journey starts thousands and thousands of years ago with the very first settlements. It's here, along these riverbanks, that archaeology gives us a peek at a people who weren't just surviving. They were building, they were farming, they were dreaming, right at the very beginning.
This timeline really paints a picture, doesn't it? Back in the Copper Age, the first little settlements started popping up on these incredibly fertile plains. And we know this because at sites like Hastinapur and Atrenjikara, archaeologists have dug up pottery, tools, real tangible evidence of a society just starting to bloom. These were the quiet, but really profound first steps of a civilization that would just keep going for millennia.
Okay, so from these early settlements, the land begins to evolve. It becomes this grand stage for the philosophies and epic stories that would eventually come to define India and really shape its soul.
So in this era, you can just imagine the great sages sitting under the trees, composing the sacred verses of the Vedas and the Upanishads. They were asking these huge questions about existence, about truth, about the universe, questions that, honestly, still echo in our hearts and minds today.
Now, what's really incredible about this is how it puts two of the world's greatest epics right in the very same region. Think about it. You've got the divine story of Rama in Ayodhya, and then the massive, profound conflict of the Mahabharata in Hastinapur, which, by the way, gave us the wisdom of the Bhagavad Gita. This one land was the heartland for both of them.
So, from the battlefields of the epics, we're now going to turn to a story of profound peace. It's a path to enlightenment that didn't begin with a war, but with a single quiet sermon.
The Buddha's journey, as you can see here, is just this story of incredible transformation. After he achieved enlightenment, Prince Siddhartha traveled to this quiet deer park in Sarnath, which is a place now sacred to millions around the world. It was right there that he delivered his first sermon, setting in motion what's known as the Wheel of Dharma. And in that one powerful moment, a philosophy of compassion and peace was born, one that would literally change the spiritual landscape of the entire globe.
So the spiritual and cultural foundations were now set. And next, this land becomes the political heart of these huge empires, which sparked an era of human achievement so brilliant we now call it India's Golden Age.
Great empires rose and fell here, kind of like waves on the Ganga. Under the Mauryan Emperor Ashoka, for example, this region was central to a massive domain. And Ashoka's own story, his transformation from a fierce warrior to an advocate for peace, is literally etched into stone edicts that you can still see today. They're a testament to his incredible change of heart.
But it was during the Gupta Empire, in the 4th and 5th centuries, that this land saw a true explosion of intellectual and artistic brilliance. This wasn't just a step forward, it was a revolution in human thought.
And this slide, wow, it just gives you a small taste of that revolution. I mean, in mathematics, you have Aryabhata calculating pi, and get this, theorizing that the Earth rotates on its axis. These are concepts that would take Europe another 1,000 years to grasp. In literature, the poet Kalidasa was crafting timeless masterpieces. And in art, the Mathura school of sculpture was creating pieces that just radiated this unique kind of serenity. This was way more than just progress. It was an age of unparalleled genius that laid the groundwork for so much of modern science and art.
We're now going to journey into the sacred geography of this land. We're going to visit cities that aren't just dots on a map, but are truly timeless destinations for the human soul. First up, we arrive in Mathura, the city where Lord Krishna was born. It's a place where stories of divine love seem to echo in the streets, and where that famous Mathura school of art gave physical form to the divine, carving these iconic statues from red sandstone.
Now, just stop and think about this number for a second. Over 3,500 years. To put that in perspective, Varanasi was already an ancient, bustling city when Rome was basically a collection of huts and Athens was just getting started. For millennia, it has just stood there, this constant center of prayer and pilgrimage. It's incredible.
Mark Twain just captured it perfectly, didn't he? He saw a city that felt absolutely timeless, a place where, for Hindus, to die is to be freed from the cycle of rebirth. It is the city of Lord Shiva, a place where the sacred and the mortal meet right there on the banks of the Ganga.
And then you have Prayagraj, the site of the Triveni Sangam. This is where the holy Ganges and Yamuna rivers meet, along with the mythical, invisible Saraswati River. And this incredible confluence hosts the Kumbh Mela, which is the largest peaceful gathering of human beings on the entire planet.
So after all of this, what does it all mean? Let's try to bring all these threads of history and faith and genius together to really understand what this land represents today.
Here's why all this matters. Looking at Uttar Pradesh is like looking at the living, breathing memory of Indian civilization itself. It's the land where the great epics were lived. It's the place where the Buddha first taught peace. It was the heartland of that golden age of science and art. And it's where the Ganga has flowed wholly and unbroken for thousands and thousands of years.
And that brings us to our final thought. When you consider its profound history, its enduring sacredness, you have to ask yourself, right? Is this just a state in modern India? Or is it something much, much more? Is it the very memory of a civilization, alive and breathing, right here in the 21st century?